Welcome to the Grow Your Business and Grow Your Wealth podcast with Gary Heldt. Gary is an expert in helping business owners put together a plan that will provide a better future for their businesses, themselves, and their families. On the podcast, Gary interviews other professionals who share his vision, and together they share secrets and strategies any business owner can use to build a better financial foundation for your business and your life.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. This week, my guest is Tamara Laine, and she is the founder of MPWR, an AI-driven fintech platform transforming how individuals and small business owners build credit and access capital. Welcome.
Very nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, give us your background, because you haven't always been in this. You used to.
Yeah, I have a really fun background, a lot of diversity in my work that brings me a lot of knowledge to be a startup founder. So I started my career as an investigative journalist and helped launch 3 different media outlets. Then I went to go work with startup founders on their communication, and I was learning marketing along the way, launched a live selling shopping platform and scaled that to about $7 million in the first year. Left that, started working with more startups, advising companies, working in AI, and have now launched my second company, which is a fintech startup, like you just said. So I have a rich background. I love the 0 to 1 phase of a company and helping getting companies launched to scale.
What is it about AI that's fascinated you, that wanted you to go down that road?
Well, I mean, it is the new frontier of technology,
Mhm.
right? It's AI and then it's going to be quantum. It's how do you improve people's lives using a technology that can really, really transform how we operate. And so with that comes a lot of responsibility, how we create it. So that's where I'm really interested in how do we create really human-centered technology and AI products that help people be more productive, live flourishing lives, create more equality. There's such an opportunity with AI right now to do that.
Yeah, and you know, big shift from journalism, to this. I mean, obviously, AI is definitely out there, everywhere. And I think using it the right way is definitely important. Um, for those that aren't familiar with it, can you talk more about the what you mean with, AI and fintech?
Well, so I mean, AI is applicable in every industry, right?
Mhm.
And so how you leverage it and how you use it can be completely different depending on what your use case scenario it is. I'm very interested in how AI can create financial equality through different products. So, what we're looking at is how do you create holistic pictures of people so that they can access more credit and capital. And AI is able to, really sort through complex information and bring you back simple answers. And so that's where I look at fintech. I mean, it's you can do many different things with AI, but that's my focus area.
Gotcha. So how does that help? For those that don't understand, with credit, and how people can use that to build up credit to be able to access more cash to be able to either use in your business or personal life. Can you talk about that?
Well, I mean, so right now, people who are listening to us are probably small business owners, right? And
Yep.
I'm guessing that 90% of them have had problems getting a loan,
Hmm.
getting a cash advance, anything that they needed in order to kind of get through a rough patch or start to scale their company. And it's because traditionally you're going in with bank statements, you're going in with paper in hand to talk to someone. The full picture of them and their business isn't necessarily accessible. Now we can make it accessible in an easy way, click of a button, attach a few different accounts, provide a little bit of information, and AI can gather that and give better answers. And so then you would be able to access credit and capital and learn how to pay it back. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things and what we are building into our product is that It's one thing to access loans, it's another thing to understand how to pay them back. And so having your financial agent, your financial assistant there with you every step of the way in order to create, a better financial picture for yourself
Mhm.
is now something that is a reality, where before that was something that was inaccessible. It was expensive to have financial advisors or, someone else doing your accounting. That is now transforming because of AI.
So you're more on the consumer side, not so much the banking side.
I'm B2B
Okay. So for people who don't know what that means, that's business to business. So
business.
just so everybody knows.
And I told you I
Um,
didn't use many acronyms and
yes,
I
yeah,
was
there you go. There
wrong.
you go. Um, in in doing this and helping people, because again, a lot of the people I'm going to say are still afraid of AI because again, we don't totally understand it.
That's fair.
And there's a lot of AI that's out there because again, it's where it's pulling information from may not always be accurate. When it comes traditionally to lending and stuff, a lot of the lenders have relied on, your Dun and Bradstreet, type rating and stuff like that, which isn't always accurate. And if you're not paying for it, you're not getting it, and so forth. Um, I guess, how are you educating people that there's this, AI technology out there that you guys are providing?
So I think we need to look at AI and look at it in a bunch of different categories, right? You have your like chatbots, you have your LLMs, and I think this, when I talk to people and they say I'm using AI, what they usually mean is they're using ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude or Microsoft Copilot, right?
Mhm.
That's basically a search engine.
Right.
When you think about that, that is like taking Google, putting it on steroids, getting better answers, and it can do a little bit of work for you. That's not the total capacity of what AI can do. And so you think, okay, let's categorize that. That is one thing, that is one part of AI.
Hmm.
Where AI is very good is in contained situations where if you look like you take a box of information and you say, I want to get this information and I need this outcome. And so what you can do is you can get more accurate answers. And this is what you can rely on, right? So like let's just say you have your company's information in a box and you have your AI agent pulling information and giving it to you on a regular basis. So saying every Monday, I need to know my financial P&L statement, right? Profit and loss statement. Um, and so every Monday in your inbox comes your profit and loss statement, right? Where normally you might be getting that from your accountant. Well, AI is able to do that, and you're actually going to be able to more reliably trust it because it's coming from a set information data point versus when you think of like, oh, hallucinations and inaccurate AI, that's because it's coming from this huge learning, large language model system that's still doing learning, that's pulling basically from the internet.
Right.
And so that's where you're getting the large number of hallucinations and less reliable answers. When you start creating these ecosystems where the the AI agent can pull from set facts, it's not 100% still, but we're talking about leaps and bounds from the chat GPT and
Right.
the perplexity. So I think that's where we need to start understanding the difference and how to leverage AI. If you're a small business owner and you're only doing chat GPT or you're doing perplexity, you're actually not leveraging the tools that AI can make you more productive because that's just a search engine.
Right. Right. So are you guys providing the AI agent, or what is it that you're
Yes.
providing?
Yes, so we have AI agents, we have credit modeling systems, we've got the AI agent coach.
Okay. And then what does that coach do?
So that coach for the borrower does what I mentioned before, which is it takes the borrower through the whole onboarding process of getting a loan, getting credit, and then can give the borrower the tips, tools, and insight into their accounts on how to pay back what they've borrowed and stay financially flourishing, I say. So basically, like it can notify you if your account's going lower so that you may not be able to pay back your loan. You need to call your provider and say, hey, is there flexibility this month? As we look into the long term, that agent would be able to work directly with the bank immediately and say, hey, can we pay this much this month, but next month we're estimated to make more, so let's pay, and we can have a more fluid repayment schedule so that payments are always happening, but it's based on what the borrower can afford that month.
So is the consumer coming to you guys that is this on a subscription basis with you that they're able to do this, or how does your relationship work with the consumer?
So we're strictly to the banks. So we work with the banks, and the banks provide that to consumers.
Okay. Okay. Um, what from a credit standpoint, I mean, we've already talked about the AI and I'm going to say some of the mistakes that people are making. From the credit side of things, what are some of the mistakes that business owners are making when it comes to trying to get these loans?
It could be asking for, an amount that isn't suitable with their ability to repay, right? And that's one area that we're really looking at is how do we help guide the borrower to ask for the right amount so that they do get a yes versus, if it's just out of the picture, only hearing a no and not knowing why. Um, One, there's behaviors that borrowers should be having before going to apply, which would be, like making sure payments are on time, right? Utility payments, rent payments. It doesn't have to necessarily be a mortgage payment, but like there's consistency is king. So if you've got consistency in when we're looking back at your cash flow and your payments, that's one of the best indicators for credit. It doesn't necessarily have to be how much you have. It's that you can show that you're reliable.
Right. Um, so in some of your stuff, you mentioned credit IP. Can
Yeah.
you tell us what that means and how it helps build the financial credibility?
So I call our credit IP as the holistic picture of the borrower, right? Right now, with traditional systems, you're looking at just, how many loans you have, how many liabilities you have, whether that's a mortgage, and that's not the whole picture of a person, right? And so our
Mhm.
credit IP is the whole picture that includes cash flow, it includes what I talked about, consistency, it talks about, um, your rent payments. It's pulling in a bunch of different data points to say, hey, this is who you are. You're not just your student loans, right?
Right.
You're not just your mortgage payment, which a majority of people now don't have mortgages. So there's a bunch of different ways to look at someone, and that's our credit IP, which is your personal score.
Gotcha. Um, Now you've also launched another company, Blythe. Can you talk about that?
Built, yeah. So I'm a
Oh,
co-founder in
sorry.
an AI construction tech company. The founder of that is a brilliant business owner who has launched and scaled construction companies, and he has a new technology to help contractors, asset managers, and the clients communicate and do work. And so we're building that out. I'm helping with that. It's got an AI component as well, and it's really going to transform the relationship between people who are getting work done on their properties and the contractors.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, what I guess what do you see from an AI standpoint here in the next year that people really need to take advantage of that they aren't.
Well, it goes back to what I said before. If you're only using a few of these search engines, then you're not leveraging the productivity that AI can give you. There are tools, especially for small business owners, that will help you with your marketing, that will help you with your calendar, your scheduling, your emails that really can save hours in a day. I use a product right now that helps me with my tasks to my calendar to my emails, and it honestly it probably saves me 2 hours a day. Those are the types of things that you should be looking at. Now, it's going to take you a while to find
Yes.
how you interact with them and the products that you like because there's a lot of things out there that are just called like ChatGPT wrappers, which are basically you're paying to use ChatGPT in a more controlled way. And that I would say stay away from because it's not worth the money. But if you can find a tool that actually helps you with automation and doing, like you'd say 3 tasks in a row, that's where you're going to find a lot of value in how AI can help your small business.
Right, right. Um, I think it's one of those things that people are still they're afraid of it because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I think that um, there's people that are out there that aren't using it for good, and I think that scares people also. Can you talk a little bit about the security when it comes to AI and ChatGPT or any of the search engines?
Well, I would definitely say if you're using any of those search engines, you want to have the public learning off. So you have to go into your settings and you have to turn off that, it's learning from your inputs, which make it public. Um, so you want to make sure that's done. If you're in a really controlled environment, you want to be using something like a Microsoft Copilot, versus Perplexity or one of the other systems. um, you have to be making sure that your information belongs to you. And so a paid version versus a free version is better. If it's free, I mean, it goes back to the old thing. If it's free, you're the product,
Right,
right? Like, so you want to be paying for these tools so that you've got more control over the data and the security.
right. Um, what have I not asked you you wish I had?
I mean, I think so. I host a podcast, What the Frack, and what we do is we talk to small business owners and startups about how to launch and scale their company. And you've hit one of the points, which is everybody's asking about AI these days and how to leverage it um, without having privacy concerns, without it monopolizing their day. And I think the main thing that I take away from talking to all the experts on our show that we talk about in my work in particular is try a new product once a week.
Hmm.
There are thousands, tens of thousands of products coming out every day. And so it can be so much noise that it takes like extra time versus it helping you, it
Right.
starts to monopolize your time. So what I've implemented is I try a new product once a week. I spend 1 hour, I look at it, I see if it helps me out. I have found incredible things that help me now. And I've also been able to push aside any of the noise. And so you say, okay, what is the number one thing that's taking up the largest amount of my time, um, that could be automated or that I should have a virtual assistant do, right? And then
Hmm.
you look for the product in AI that does that. And I don't think it's going to replace everything, right? Like I still have
No.
my virtual assistant who helps me. And now I've got kind of my virtual assistant taking over one of the things that I work with AI on. And so it still actually helps me with cost. It's brought down my cost and helped my time immensely. Um, and it's AI hasn't completely taken over the task, but I'm able to transfer that off of my plate better versus I was unable to do it before.
Right, right. Yeah, I think again, I think it's one of those things, becoming familiar with it, but then becoming comfortable with it. And I think it's just like any technology that's out there, we need to see what works for us and what doesn't work for us, for sure.
Exactly.
So, Tamara, if people like what they hear, they want to learn more about you, they want to learn more about Empower, how can they reach you? Where can they find you?
Find me on LinkedIn. I love to chat with people on LinkedIn. You can direct message me, follow me. That's where, I have good conversations. I'm posting my thoughts. If you want to learn more about Empower, you can go to empower.money or empowerai.com and sign up for our newsletters. And yeah, I welcome anybody who's curious about how to leverage AI in their companies or how to scale from 0 to 1. That's who I like to speak with.
Great. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me. This is a great conversation.
Sure. Hey, this week my guest was Tamara Laine, and she is the founder of Empower, and I'll see you guys next week.